Hello everyone, it's me, the Booknester, and I bet you're wondering, why are we outside? Where are your books? Where's your coloring? Well, we're outside, and oh, why does she have a moose? That might be another question. I've been toying with the idea because I'm about to start another aspect of all my hobbies, and I haven't been able to do this hobby for many years because of us moving up to the New Jersey area, living in an apartment. And now that we bought this place, which will be a year ago, April 10th, I'm going to get to start up that hobby again. And that hobby is gardening. And I decided that I might want to share a little bit about what's going on. So why do I have the moose? Well, first of all, it's spring and winter is over, right? The flowers have bloomed, the birds are singing, and yeah. Well, I'm going to take you on a little walk around the place, which might tell you that it's not quite spring yet. But what I'm doing is I'm changing out any of my winters type stuff I have in the house, and so I'm bringing it down into the basement, and it made me think I need to video this because in the basement is the beginnings of my gardening. So I thought I'd bring you down there and share with you while I put some stuff away, and then just kind of talk to you about what I'm thinking of doing. And I really hope that you find it somewhat helpful and somewhat interesting. If not, it'll be just like all my other videos in that I will start having a banner which is specific for anything to do with the gardening or anything around Rivercrest Cottage. And that is the name of the house that we live in, and that's where I'm going to be coming to you from, especially when I'm outside. So I'm going to get him inside because even though he's a moose, he might be a little bit cold, and finish up taking stuff down in the basement. Meanwhile, why don't you go take a walk around with me? I did this earlier this morning, right after all the snow it was about 7:30 in the morning, I guess, and it was absolutely gorgeous, and you can get a little bit of the layout of the land here at Rivercrest Cottage. So, talk to you in just a moment. So here we are walking towards the garden, which is just a big open fenced in. That's about all that we've done so far. And as you can tell, it's snowing, and it is March 7th, I think. And we're about to get a second big giant nor'easter kind of snow thing. I think we're on, let's see, Winter Storm Quinn, I think is what this one is, for 2018. Crazy predictions of all kind. But what I thought I would do is have us out here and just kind of looking at this bare patch. And this is my first full year. We bought the house in April 10th of last year. And so the garden, there was a patch in the middle of this area that was basically just hemmed in with all of this chicken wire that I've pulled up and rolled up and put over here because there could be uses for it down the road, so I don't quite want to get rid of it quite yet. And so there was a patch basically right in there. There's kind of a straight line you see that all that chicken wire was around. So we enlarged this and made it a little bit wider, which is great. It's about a 30 by 40 little patch, and all we've done is fence it in so far. That's our solar panel, and this is where I'm going to start doing a few gardening things. So I don't know if you're going to be interested in that. I know I have a lot of readers and colorists, but I'm wondering if any of you are garden enthusiasts as well. That's another book that I love to have. Here's the back of the cottage, and this cottage's name is Rivercrest Cottage, and this is going to be the Rivercrest Cottage garden. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to get into it. I have been busy ordering all kinds of things, some of them plants. I did seeds, things like that. But mainly what we're going to be doing this year is starting to put in some of the hardscaping and trying to just play with the area a little bit. So I'm getting snowed on so much. And that right down there is the river. That's the Battenkill that runs along there. Looking beautiful. And then there's our little fire pit area right outside here. Hoping to get a picnic table and some more chairs, some more Adirondack chairs. We normally move the Adirondack chairs, at least 2, down by the river during the summer. I say normal. We just did it the 1 year, so, you know, how normal is that? And this little guy right here, I don't know if you can even see him because it kind of fades in with the bigger trees, but he's right there. I've got a little apple tree that I've got to do some pruning on and experimenting with. So I know nothing. nothing about gardening in Zone 5, gardening in a place that as of March 7th is possibly to get maybe 10 or more inches of snow. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but that's what they're saying, and it's giving it a good try right now. And then this is our pasture area or paddock right outside. It used to have a horse. The horses used to be in here. And we've got some apple trees down there on the other side of the solar panel, but this is going to be my little patch to work in, and I'm hoping to do some videoing of me actually maybe starting to turn this into something more. Talk about a tumbling tubing and gosh only knows what I'm going to create up here. Again, my knowledge is from Texas. Any gardening I've ever done in the past, these are all new plants and experiences and trying to figure out when I'm supposed to put stuff in the ground. I would assume right now would not be a good day. But it is beautiful out here. Absolutely beautiful. So this is a gorgeous old apple tree, and every limb looks as if it has 3 to 5, maybe even in some places 6 inches of snow lightly sitting on it. The snow was wet when it first started, but overnight it became that nice fluffy snow. And we haven't had any wind yet. So everything is outlined just beautifully. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's an old tree and needs lots and lots of pruning, but I just love the wildness, the craziness of it. And it does still put on apples, though there are way up there in the tippy top. And that's mostly for the birds, and then when it falls, for our resident doe that likes to come through and eat apples in the winter. But they have been picked clean in January. There are no more apples, but just beautiful. And you can see now there's a light little breeze blowing, so there's some of it's being blown. Just beautiful. Though I want to get into my garden, that's for sure, but March 8th and to see this beauty, and thank goodness we had a snow day, so there's no need for me to have to go to work or anything like that, so I'm safe and can enjoy this. So this is a little scrub area that's right next to our property. It's part of our property, but it's not fenced in and cleared out. It is a scrub area, and the birds love to live in there, but I was again just admiring these sheer, branches just full of snow. Hearing a little bit of the birds, but I think they're all hunkered down somewhere, probably trying to stay warm. I did put the bird feeder out and dust it off and throw some seeds, so hopefully a few of them might be able to enjoy it. And here is the Battenkill from our little paddock area. Again, the snow is just gorgeous. I don't know that it's still snowing or if this is stuff blowing off the trees, but I think we're due for a little bit more snow today. Maybe anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. Look at the fence line though. That's what's so cool. This lovely split rail fencing has so much snow on it. And I'm just going to take a little part out for you to see how much we have. So if you take that off, dust it. There you go. There. That shows you how much is resting on it. So yeah, just amazing. I hate disturbing the snow. I hate coming out and walking even. And so this is just our fence line, and that's our walk, our little path on the other side that we take when we go for our walks down by the river. God, just beautiful. So being raised in Texas, this is not something that I get to see very often. That's probably why I'm taking so many videos and just in awe of it. Again, very, very fortunate that they play it very safe up here. And, you know, we're not required to go into school on days with this much snow. I know my driveway has not been plowed yet. Ah! That's a little bit of a breeze blowing it off. So we could, if the wind blows starts blowing, we could really start seeing more almost like a whiteout condition. As we can see, that breeze just going right down the fence line. Sorry if it's jumpy, but I'm in about, I don't know, let me see. Looking down, what does it look like? Maybe about 7 inches deep of snow that I'm going down in with my boots. There's more snow underneath my feet than that, but that's where the snow compacts enough. So it's probably close to 10 inches in places. Oh my gosh. Very, very fortunate. Amazingly fortunate to be here to be able to see this. I'm also filming this for my husband because he's coming up this weekend, and I don't think this will still be around. We might be getting another dusting though, which is great. I mean, the snow will still be here, but I don't know about it being clung to the trees like this. Luckily, it's not that heavy, so I don't have very many tree breakages or branches. Right there is where we normally put our Adirondack chairs to sit and watch the river, but right now, we have this lovely stand of really tall trees. I've got to learn all my trees around here. But normally, that in the winter now, we bring our Adirondacks up here to the house. There you go. You see them right there by our little apple tree and by the fire pit. We're hoping to get a picnic table in that area, so near the garden. So there's another view of the garden, or the future garden, I should say. Right now, it's just a snow corral. Got plenty of snow in there, that's for sure. Just one more little span. There's our lovely solar panel that's not charging a whole lot today. Maybe when I go out to clear off the truck, I'll clear off the solar panel in case we get any sun in the next couple days. But it's not about the sun and warmth today. It's all about the beauty of winter right now. Thanks for taking a walk around my place. Hope everybody's staying cozy and warm, or getting that wonderful weather that you love, because I love this weather. I think it's just amazing. Bye, y'all. So here we are inside the basement, and it's not a decorated basement, it's not a finished basement, but it's a pretty darn good basement. It's pretty good size, and I've never had a basement before. So being raised in Texas and basically all my gardening and where we've lived before, we've really never had a basement. So for now, it's going to have to do for my potting shed. It's a pretty good one because it's pretty good size. It also gets us out of the snow, which is still falling out there. So this is what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking of adding this to my channel. Now, we all know that I am the Booknester, and I've even toyed with the idea of changing the name of the channel, probably to like Rivercrest Cottage, because I want it to encapsulate all my different hobbies, because I really do believe that not all of us only do one hobby. I think most of us have a lot of different interests. It's one of the things I've noticed, that with my coloring videos, you know, a lot of the people that are there because I started out as a book channel have stayed through with the coloring. I've added a lot of people due to the coloring, and I think that they've also looked at some of my book reviews and my book discussions. But as I said, I am the Booknester, and Rivercrest Cottage is my nest. It's my husband and I's nest. Again, we moved here we bought the place on April 10th, but I didn't get to move here full time until, I think it was definitely July. I think 4th of July, actually. That week is whenever we moved up here, or I moved up here. So I've been living here for not quite a year, but going through all the seasons so far. I vaguely remember what spring was like, but it's funny because in Vermont, and as with a lot of places I think that have snow, kind of find out they don't just have 4 seasons, we have 5. So yeah, you have your lovely spring, summer, fall, and winter, but then we have mud season. So I have a feeling mud season is on its way with all of this snow. The thing is that I wanted to share with you what other books and therefore the hobbies. So almost all my hobbies always start with some form of book. So my coloring book, of course, is with coloring, but then I go out and I look at other artist books and illustrators books and try to get ideas of techniques that I might be able to put in that coloring. Of course, there's my great hobby of just reading, period. But that's what's so fascinating about books, is that you can get a book to tell you about whatever you're interested in. And these are my gardening books. I had to pare these way down because all I've ever done is gardened down in Texas. That's like we were like zone 9, 8 or 9. And I'm now in zone 5, up in the Northeast. I know nothing about gardening in this part of the country, besides I know that this past summer I saw some amazing, beautiful plants and homes, and oh, the nurseries were amazing to go to as well. I was very good and told myself not to buy anything or for at least a year, so I didn't. This year's a little different. So this year I'm starting the planning process, and the reason why I brought you down here is because with gardening, it's nice to have the respite, and that's one thing I'm looking forward to, because in Texas we didn't have it. And you know, you would have 2 or 3 months that you just, either it was way too hot to be out in the garden, or it might have gotten kind of messy in December and January, and I know they're getting tons of rain right now, which makes it a little bit difficult, but you can, you know, have a garden going almost year-round in Texas. Here you definitely have a respite. So I'm all rested up. February's gone. It is now March, and my itching to start on this garden is huge. Now, I have to remind myself to do this very, very slowly. So I'm hoping to do a few videos and show you as I go along some of the things that I do. But one of the first things I do, of course, is tackle into my books and start reading about the area. Now, I have 2 wonderful books from England from whenever we lived over there, and I can't get rid of them. One of them has a very sentimental value. It was given to me by my in-laws. It is a wonderful old one about gardening through the year and what all you should be doing. And the thing is I'm trying to find out how close to my season this book follows, because this book was written back in probably, what, the 60s or 70s? 68. This is 1968. So with all the warming and changing of our seasons, it'll be interesting to see if this kind of follows along. And then once I figure out, is it a month off, is it a month ahead, is it a month behind, then I can kind of use it even as a guide. But I love this book. It has a lot of sentimental value. The other one that I have that I could not get rid of, and it is The Complete Gardener, because it is The Complete Gardener, but it is Monty Don. And if you watch any British BBC gardening shows, you know exactly who this man is. I have another book called The Jewel Garden that is more of a story about them making the book and less about how to do things. But I figure this is the same kind of thing, that I can use this once I figure out maybe when my zones are, to look into how to, you know, looking differently at how to do with plants and all of that. So Monty Don's going to stick with me. Love for him to be my head gardener, that's for sure. Then the other 2 are brand new. I just bought them this year, and they make sense that I did. Number 1 is a beautiful book called Gardening or Growing the Northeast Garden. So that's one. This one has sample gardens, kind of talks about the different plants that thrive in that garden, because the Northeast is not just made up of one type of zone. You know, I live down here in a valley between 2 large mountains. Of course, Northeast can also be, as we know, on the coastline. as well as, and then going all the way, I think from zones like 7 all the way to zones 3. So huge difference in gardening and the type of plants that would work there. Not to mention you then have your urban versus your rural. I mean, just tons. So it's a great book and covers all of that. And then this last one is just the New England Gardener's Handbook. This is a great place for me to start. It has a bunch of suggested plants for the area, and it tells me between my different zones when I should be starting to do stuff. So this one is one that I've been already looking at quite a lot. But as I said, lots and lots of books for me to reference, and of course, then there's the internet. The one thing that I noticed is there are tons of allotment and English-based gardening videos out there. I'm having difficulty finding more than 1 or 2. I have 2 really good ones that are zone 5, but they're a very different zone 5 compared to me, and whether on one side of the country, because one of them is zone 5 over in Oregon and borders up almost onto a desert type area, whereas the other one is, I think, near the Chicago area, and then you've got me over here. So we're all in very different type of environments and regions. So though I'm getting a good idea of plants I might be able to use, I still haven't found a whole lot of videos and gardeners that are doing the other thing too, doing flowers. So I will be predominantly doing flowers. I might sneak some herbs in because I love herbs, but I'm not going to be doing a lot of vegetable gardening. In the future, I might try a little bit here and there, but I have the most wonderful sustainable agriculture, community sustainable agricultural, I don't know, the whole area has the CSAs, but I have a great farm stand that I can go to, and I love their vegetables, and I'll let them worry about the white flies and all of that stuff, and if they don't have enough carrots, that's their worry, not mine. So I've been loving using that, and I used that all last summer into the fall. I even did their winter CSA for a while, and that was great. So I don't really feel a need to have to go and start doing vegetables. I may have a desire in the future too. So this is kind of probably going to be my area that I'm going to be working on. The first thing that I need to do is start planning out my beds. I already know a couple places where I want to have them, and I have to wait for the snow to melt for me to do it. But I have been following some other gardeners here on YouTube, and one of the suggestions that I've seen is making beds using cardboard. So let me take you on a little trip. Hold on. All right, oops, there you go. So you see that giant pile back there? Yeah, that is from our move last year, and all the subsequent, you know how whenever you move and then you order a bunch of stuff, all the ordering and all the happy mail and all the hauls and everything comes in cardboard boxes. Well, this is my pile of cardboard boxes. Now, what I'm supposed to be doing is taking those cardboard boxes, breaking them down, and then they are going to go over here in right here. So here's some broken down ones with all the tape removed. Ooh, I'm spinning you, sorry. So these have all the tape removed off of them, as much of the shipping labels as possible. It is just straight cardboard. And the idea is that these are going to go down into kind of be the base layer of some of my beds around my garden that I'm going to be making. And hopefully I can recycle them in that way. So that's why I wanted to bring you down here, was to tell you what was going to be going on possibly, but also to show you what I'm going to be doing for the rest of March, is coming down here and working through these. My husband will be so happy to get rid of those boxes. Oh, and then here's something kind of fun. So you see those lovely 2 matching pair of pruners? Yes, this is a problem. So when you have everything stored down in the basement and you have your laptop and ordering potential, Amazon, upstairs, you sometimes order stuff that you didn't realize that you already had. So now I have 2. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of pruning, and they look like they might be slightly different pruners looking at the way that they so maybe I don't have 2 of the same. Hey, I have to do some pruning as well. I have an apple tree that really needs it, and I'm scared to death to do it. But this is what happens if you don't have a knowledge and don't come down and check to see what tools you really have. Yeah, just like with me and my double books, I now have double pruners. Hi everyone, so I've come back inside. It is still snowing, though it is letting up a little bit, which is great outside. I got done a few little jobs down there in the basement, and I thought I'd come up and kind of finish up and wrap up with what I was talking about. So basically that's going to be kind of a small synopsis of what I think I might be doing, is just every once in a while popping into the garden, letting you know what I'm doing. If I'm working on a project or something that I think you might find interesting, or somebody might find interesting. Or if I want it for my own diary. So that's the other thing this is going to kind of fulfill, is me being able to record what's going on in the garden, see what things I tried that worked and things that didn't. I do keep a journal. I've already started my little book journal. Of course I keep a journal. Keep a journal on everything. Except, you know what I've never done is like a diary. I've never done a diary. No. So I started a little book journal, and I have started it, and I put even the little coloring pages. This is from one of my coloring books. I just transferred it into here. And it basically is going to go through the month and just the things that I'm thinking about doing, the projects, and it's a bullet journal. It's going to be set up as a bullet journal. I think gardening and gardening journals are so perfectly ripe for a bullet journal, so that we can just keep going and going, and then we can refer back, because that indexing is so key. So I might show my journal and talk about what I'm planning on doing, and then maybe showing you, hopefully, me doing it. So we're going to start with some seed starting. I've never done that before. I don't know that I have any of the proper equipment to be able to do it, and I don't want to buy a lot of equipment. But I'm going to give a few little things that I've seen on YouTube a try and see how they go. We'll be definitely reading quite a few more books, that's for sure. So hopefully you'll want to go ahead and join me on this new journey. It's off to another hobby. I won't be leaving my others behind, because as I said before, almost all my hobbies begin with books, and it all seems to come back to that. And now it's just about making my nest a little bit prettier, possibly. So I sure hope that you'll join us here at Rivercrest Cottage and see what's going on down by the river.